Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to Robert Sports Show from the independent scene to the main event of WrestleMania. Alright, next up we have TNA Genesis review. Happened on Sunday night. Was watching it a little bit live with Game Changer Wrestling at Hammerstein. Noted the Game Changer show on Hammerstein Ballroom. We had PCO basically taking out the social media championship, the whatever the hell that title is called, the TNA Digital Media Championship, social media, Digital Media Championship. Now, if you go to Cage Match and look up the titles, that title is not listed. Oh no, it is listed there as vacant now. Okay, it wasn't listed there earlier, but it's listed there as vacant now. So I'm assuming PCO is no longer with the company. So we'll see how that's addressed live on Impact on Thursday night. So first thing we had Miss NXT Ariana Grace come out with the Busted Open guys on the pre-show, on the countdown. You had Tommy Dreamer, the host of Busted Open, what's his name, Dave LaGreca. You had Mark Henry. No Bully Ray. Where was Bully Ray? He's part of Busted Open, isn't he? Something I've been referring to online is WWE Busted Open because they don't really talk about independent stuff that much. And their tagline is from the independent scene to the main event of WrestleMania. And they cover zero independent wrestling. Every once in a while they'll have an independent wrestler on there. And they'll have Sammy Callahan talking about Revolver. Or they'll talk about, every once in a while they never cover their shows. But I quit listening to it because of that. And Bully Ray's an idiot. So they had the panel out there. You had Ashante Adonis come out wanting to match with somebody with TNA. Now, Jake something came out and challenged him. And I wrote this down. I looked this up during this match. Because at this point, we know they've been advertising both across both brands. The, whatever you want to call it, with TNA and WWE and the Alliance and all this, are working together, blah, blah, blah. They've been doing it for a year now. I don't understand why all of a sudden it's news when it started in January of last year with Jordynne Grace in the Rumble, and you've had Joe Henry in multiple matches on NXT. You've had the Rascalz are NXT #1 contender for the tag titles. And it's like you've had Trey Miguel going back and forth, but now all of a sudden now it's new. It's like I don't understand that. Up until this point, most of the time it's been kind of the fourth tier guys, and Adonis I would put in that category. Dude's had 3 matches in 3 months in NXT. I'm like, really? You're sitting this guy? Really? I know it got better later. Don't worry. Jake something beat Adonis. Pretty short match, 3 minutes 53 seconds, and they gave it 2.5 star. Jake something just overpowered him. You had Moose in the system come out, or Moose and JDC come out and advertise the new X Division Championship. I like the old one better. The new one they showed it later, it looks stupid. Then the second match on the pre-show was Frankie Kazarian and Leon Slater. It was an okay match. I think they're giving it 3.5 because of Leon Slater doing this Blue Thunder Bomb. Frankie ends up kicking out. Leon doing a Swanton 450. Yeah, you heard me right. A Swanton into a 450 on Kaz. Kaz kicked out. Or Kaz got his knees up. And ended up winning the match on that. It was a good match. 9 minutes and 7 seconds. It was your typical kind of pre-show. Get the crowd riled up for a match. So Frankie winning that, which I actually thought Leon Slater would go over on that one. Oops. The main show starts. You get the X Division title to start out with. You have Ace Austin taking on champion Moose. Moose had the new title belt. Again, I didn't like it too much. Ace Austin, obviously, still coming off and talking about the injury with Chris Bay, ABC Club, and, obviously there's a GoFundMe page out for Chris Bay. It's horrible, that neck injury he suffered. I was reading some stuff online about it. One of the worst neck injuries in wrestling. So yeah, hopefully he's able to make a recovery and come back. Hell of a good talent there. But Ace Austin kind of on his own now. He ends up doing a drop kick into the corner, kind of a hot start there. They start fighting on the outside. Moose ends up doing a dive to the barriers, and Austin moved. Moose ended up chop into the apron onto the floor. JD ends up coming out, sends Ace Austin in the steel post. Moose spears JD after Austin moves. That was kind of funny. Ace Austin did a dive onto the system. Ace Austin did a dive off the top rope, and Moose speared the holy hell out of him. You had Willie Mack come out to save Ace Austin after the fact, because there was a beatdown by the system after Moose retaining his title. 14 minutes and 47 seconds. Moose, still your X Division title champion. I knew when I said in the preview of this, I said he's going to retain. I also said he's probably going to retain. He's probably going to end up doing option C at some point and cashing that X title in for a world title shot. Next up, we had Eric Young and Steve Maclin teaming up against the system, Brian Myers, Eddie Edwards. Alisha Edwards is out there being pesky as ever. Eric Young, Steve Maclin ended up getting the victory here. 7 minutes and 30 seconds. I give it 2 3/4 star. Next up, we had the Knockout World Tag Titles on the line. Champion Spitfire, Dana Luna, Jody Threat taking on Ash by Elegance, and Heather by Elegance with the personal concierge out there. The Elegance comes out dressed like Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders. They're in Dallas, by the way. And one of the announcers goes, "Well, the Eagles are better. Dallas doesn't win." I thought that was perfect. Ash did a backstabber. Heather comes off the top rope onto Dana Luna. Luna does a back-to-back snap suplex on Ash. Dana does a German on Heather over the top rope. German over the top rope German. Short match, 9 minutes and 30 seconds. Spitfire retains their tag titles. I don't know where these knockout tag titles are going to go. It's just, we just do the same thing with them. I end up giving it a 3-star. I actually thought they might put the titles on Ash and Heather after Impact last week when they had the cardboard cutouts. The titles are on their waist. I thought it'd be the perfect time to do that. They didn't. Next up, we had Tessa Blanchard versus Jordynne Grace, the past versus the present of Knockouts. Tessa, the only female to ever win TNA World Heavyweight title. The announcers talked about, they kind of did the CM Punk thing. Tessa burned the bridge of TNA. Never say never. Never thought we'd ever see her in TNA again. Here she is. How did she do that? Yeah, like the whole CM Punk return to WWE kind of thing. Here's the kicker with this, and I knew this in the preview, and I said this in the preview. We all know Jordynne Grace's contract was up that as soon as the show was over. There was no chance in hell Jordynne Grace was in this match. I don't care. There's no chance in hell she was. We know Jordynne Grace is going to be WWE bound. We know she's going to be in the Rumble on the 1st. We know more than likely she's going to be in NXT. We know we could still get Tessa versus Jordynne Grace if we do some type of crossover, or Jordynne versus Masha. We saw Masha last week on NXT. So who knows what we're going to see tonight on NXT? We know we get the NXT tag titles. I'll come to that later. But yeah, so I knew Tessa was going to win this. Grace did a dive to the outside. The Juggernaut jackhammer driver thing on the floor to Tessa. Grace fallaway slam Tessa off the top rope. Grace does a Pax's pile driver, turns into a powerbomb. Tessa's able to kick out of these. Tessa was trying to get the turnbuckle pad off. She ended up pulling it down some. Ended up bulldogging Jordynne into it, which is able to lead to the pin. This match, 20 minutes and 15 seconds. One of the best women's matches of the year for sure. I give it 4 1/4 star with Tessa Blanchard winning. Can't wait to see what Tessa does against Masha. Holy crap, can't wait. Can't see what Jordynne Grace does. seeing Jordynne Grace 2018 at All In to going to be at the Rumble for 2 years in a row, that's really cool. Watching somebody grow like that. But yeah, Tessa Blanchard winning the match against Jordynne Grace. Jordynne Grace going off probably to WWE more than likely. Next up, we had an I Quit match. Josh Alexander, Mike Santana. The Northern Armory, which is Josh Alexander's little faction guy, for banned from ringside. Santana does a over-the-top rope dive on the Alexander. Santana set up a table. Alexander overhead belly-to-belly suplex on Santana on the floor. A fan goes, "That looked like it hurt." It did, asshole. That was Santana's response. Yeah, it looked like it hurt. It looked like it did hurt. But Alexander slammed Santana in the apron. I mean, just back and forth brawl, these two. Chops, hits, etc. Alexander had a C4 spike on Santana. Santana literally, and people are going to just, I'm surprised I haven't seen it online because I've been staying offline. He no-sold it. He literally, C4 spike jumps up like that. Yeah, straight up no-sold it, but it made sense for the move. But I know, oh, he's not properly selling the move. He should have waited till he got 200 quarters and almost counted that and then got up and did. No, whatever. I don't care. It fit. As high as Santana got, just trying to win this. Everything that Santana's gone through to get to this point. Leaving TNA, grass isn't always greener on the other side. Personal demons, getting through all that for his kids, coming back to TNA. He's been a champion in House of Glory and some other companies. To come back, trying to be the guy in TNA. Yeah, it made sense of all that kind of like, yeah, I'm better than this. Santana set up a cannonball through a table Alexander. Then it came down to, they threw the stairs in the ring. You had both of them, I'll never quit. I'll never say that. I'll never do that. Do you quit? No, fuck you. The whole of it going on and on and on. You had Santana, Alexander get zip ties. Santana ended up getting a hold of him, zip tied Alexander. Literally put him against the steps, was literally going to just freaking kick him into the steps, curb stomp into the steps. And that's when Josh Alexander said, I quit. Mike Santana wins the match, 23 minutes and 6 seconds. I get 4 1/4. And then you had Alexander grabbing the mic and going, I quit the match. I quit TNA, threw the mic down and walked away. So, 2025 Men's Royal Rumble, Josh Alexander. So I'm assuming they're going to play the angle where he quit and he showed up in WWE, NXT. So, fine with me. Go to NXT, hang out with Ethan Page, bring the North back. North versus the Machine Guns. I'm all in. Next up, we had the tag titles on the line. The Hardys defending the titles versus the Rascalz. The Rascalz, they also pointed this out, the Rascalz, the number one contender for the NXT tag titles. And then you had, shocker to me, you had the NXT tag team champions. Didn't know they had a name. Fraxium, Nathan Freezer and Axiom come out with chairs. Sit as you literally just 2 foot from the ring, the end of the ramp, sitting there holding their NXT tag titles, just watching the match. You had Hardy hitting the side effect on Wentz on the floor. You had the Rascalz throw the Hardys over the top rope. They ended up kind of butting up against Fraxium. They stood up. You had Trey Miguel. You had Wentz standing there and Trey Miguel go through the ropes. Just literally right past the Hardys, right into Fraxium, which caused a whole push back and forth. Jeff ends up hitting the Swanton on Trey Miguel. 1, 2, 3. The Hardys retain their tag titles. I ended up giving this match 3.5. It was an okay, good. It was a good little match. 13 minutes, 24 seconds. I was expecting a little bit more from it, but we got kind of that leaving the titles on the Hardys. I could see something like happened, gosh, a few years ago. I can't remember what year it was now, where the Hardys on a Friday night lost, or Saturday night, whatever night it was, lost the Ring of Honor tag titles in a ladder match, showed up on Mania and won the WWE tag titles. I could see that happening again. I could see them losing the TNA tag titles, or hell, showing up in WWE Mania and winning WWE tag titles and having 2 sets of titles. I could see that happening, actually. I know Jordan Grayson mentioned about with this partnership between TNA and WWE, could we see an Ultimate X at WrestleMania? That will look awkward as hell. If we do, Penta better be in it. That's all I gotta say. I think it'd be cool. Throw AJ in it, Penta in it. Oh, yeah, why not, right? But yeah, and then it was announced that live on Impact this Thursday. Oh, so it's this Thursday on Impact. NXT Tag Team titles on the line. Fraxium versus the Rascalz. What's the chances of the Rascalz, who both got fired by WWE, winning the NXT tag titles on Impact, on TNA Impact? What's the odds? Could be pretty good. Alright, next up we have the TNA Knockout title line. A Clockwork Orange House of Fun match. Falls count anywhere. Only dreamed up by Raven. Raven Nevermore. Remember, Masha Slamovich is a GCW wrestler. She knows hardcore. Yeah, the staple. There was weapons hanging on chains. There was a trash can. There was a staple gun. There was a billy club. There was a kendo stick. Rosemary, so Masha gets all these and using them. She stapled Rosemary. You had Rosemary spray the green mist at Masha. They end up stopping the match and washing her eyes out, which is kind of retarded. They should have waited on that spot. Slamovich step up the chair crossbody on the outside. Rosemary goes under the ring and pulls out. We all remember Janice. Yes, Abyss's Janice made a return. Unfortunately, Janice got broke. Janice's handle broke off. So we are still using Janice as a weapon after that. All the spikes and stuff in that. But Rosemary takes it to the back after using it several times. She ended up doing kind of like a back body drop on Masha. And then Rosemary goes to the back, comes out with a bag of tacks. Well, of course, there's a red bag of tacks. You have to have the red bag of tacks for the Clockwork Orange House of Fun match. So that gets dumped out on the stage. You get both girls going through it. Masha has tacks in her. Again, GCW. Masha off chairs, top rope. Masha drive her through chairs and ends up getting the 1, 2, 3 on Rosemary. 14 minutes and 4 seconds. I ended up giving it 3 3/4. At the end, you had Cora Jade coming out. And remember, Masha was on NXT. Masha was sitting there. Cora Jade came over and started kind of back and forth. They kind of had the standoff. Cora comes out. Here, we had the standoff. So I'm assuming we're going to have something with Masha Slamovich and Cora Jade somewhere down the line. So having Fraxium, the NXT Tag Titles champions on the show, and Cora Jade, okay, maybe we are going to have some of the top level NXT guys and gals over on TNA. I like it. So far till this show, it's always been the 3rd or 4th rate NXT versus the Tier 1 TNA. But the main event, we had TNA World Title on the line, champion Nick Nemeth taking on Joe Henry. Say his name and he will appear. Yeah, Ryan Nemeth banned from ringside, buys a ticket, comes out and sits at ringside. Of course, that always happens. They started mat wrestling at first. It was kind of weird. Multiple 2 counts right off the bat. Nick Nemeth, top rope crossbody. Hendry held on and rolled up. Went to slam him. Nick Nemeth turned into a famouser. It was kind of a wild little boom, 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 boom. Frankie Kazarian comes out with the Call Your Shot trophy. Toward the end of it, we're like, oh crap, he's going to cash in this trophy. JBL comes out and took out Kaz with the clothesline from hell. JBL clothesline from hell, Ryan Nemeth. JBC runs off. JBL ends up leaving, running off after JBC. Hendry ended up hitting his big move, the slander, whatever it's called. Nick kicks out. Joe Hendry was able to hit it again. 1, 2, 3, and new TNA World Heavyweight Champion, Joe Hendry. If you say his name, he will appear. Going forward with this relationship with TNA and WWE, this makes sense. I don't think you're going to see Nick Nemeth on a WWE show. I'm sorry, you're not. You would have too many "here's Dolph Ziggler" chants, and they're not going to do it. Joe Hendry, though, he's been on NXT. The NXT crowd was on fire for him. I bet he'll be in the Rumble as well. I think we're going to see Masha, definitely Josh Alexander, Joe Hendry, all in the Rumble. So I saw something online that said they should bring back the 60-man battle royal that WCW used to do. That'd be kind of cool. Do something maybe TNA versus WWE versus NXT at War Games. Carry it on until November. It'd be cool. Seeing TNA guys and girls at WWE at WrestleMania will be weird. Now, what I don't want to happen is WWE buy TNA and just become a thumbnail on the network. The owner of RevPro said that WWE approached them about doing a similar kind of relationship, and at the end of the contract for the relationship, WWE had a right to refusal buy. So what that basically meant was WWE could buy them without them. They had no right to refuse it. So it's either WWE wants to buy them, and they do, or they don't. But the organization doesn't have the right to say, no, we won't sell. So that's why RevPro didn't get involved with WWE. So we'll see what TNA does. I will say that when TNA did their relationship with AEW, the TNA ratings on Access TV were higher than they have been with the relationship with WWE so far. We'll see what happens going forward. But that is TNA Genesis. As always, thanks for watching Robert Sports Show. Don't just have a great day. Have a spiffy day. Robert Sports Show, your YouTube leader in sports channel content, from the independent scene to the main event of WrestleMania.